Welcome back to Otaku no Video. As always, thank you very much for joining me, where I'm going to be reviewing Riding Bean, the 1989 OVA anime by Kenichi Sonoda, who also did Gunsmith Cats and character designs for Bubblegum Crisis and Otaku no Video. Not this Otaku no Video, the classic anime. Anyway, and in fact, Riding Bean, both the manga and the anime, was then followed up by Gunsmith Cats, the manga and anime. And Riding Bean is about Bean Bandit, a driver for hire essentially in Chicago, and his assistant gunner, Raleigh Vincent. Now you may know Raleigh from Gunsmith Cats, though it's not quite the same character. She's sort of reworked between the two series. Now the overall feel of this is very, very 80s. Think like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie or a Lupin the Third adventure. It's over the top, I'm going to use that phrase a lot. It's bloody, very violent really, but cartoony in that sense, which is kind of ridiculous. There are other characters, but they're not really important. It's an 80s action thing, but I'll get to that a little bit more later. The animation is kind of schizophrenic, to be honest. The dialogue scenes have very minimal animation. Okay, it's clear that they spend all their time and money and attention on the action sequences, and boy do they look gorgeous. There's a lot of car chases in this, a lot of attention on the car, because really the third main character is Bean Bandit's car, which is this absolutely ridiculous roadster. Great, great car, just looks cool, does amazing things, and they really lavish time and attention to make it look cool and look just awesome in that 80s way. Now, the art has a pretty standard color scheme, but the camera angles feel somewhat cinema-like. Now, there's a certain classiness to it, but it's still mired in 1980s budgets. I mean, Akira had only been released about half a year before, and it hadn't really had its time to change anime the way that it would and really introduce larger budgets. So, the editing gets lazy at times, especially during the dialogue scenes, which sort of go on for a while. But during the action scenes, quick, trim, no issues there. So, again, the action sequences are really the parts that shine. Now, Bean and Raleigh's relationship is something I really liked and wanted to talk about. They bicker a little bit, but not the way you normally get in like a buddy comedy or a lot of anime where characters are sort of, ticked off at each other a lot of the times. Raleigh and Bean will, joke with each other and roll their eyes with each other, but they work together. They very much have a strong working relationship, which again, I really appreciated. Now I listened to the English dub, which I like listening to because it had the retro feel to me of being a really cheesy 90s English dub. Okay, there are certainly some one-line characters, especially cops, that have just horrid voices. What are we gonna do now, Chief? And that's hilarious. But the rest of the dubcast actually does a solid job, or at least nothing really that grates on the ears. It certainly works and gets across what it needs to, emotionally and so forth. The plot is over the top, like so many other things. You've got plotting and plotting within the plotting and tricks and double crosses and triple crosses and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the disguises and tricks are somewhat hard to believe. Just ridiculous. It's 1980s plotting, action movie plotting. And in fact, this exists sort of within 1980s action movie universe. People get shut up and ridiculous things happen, and that's just kind of the way it is. You have to be able to sit back and enjoy yourself and enjoy that. Now, there is one thing I need to mention with this, and that is the lowly scene about halfway through. The villainess has an accomplice who is this young girl, probably tween, maybe preteen girl, who is very much devoted to her, and it's revealed in a scene about halfway through that this girl is sexually active with the villainess. And then over the course of the scene, it's revealed that their relationship is quite twisted, for lack of a better word. Now, everyone keeps their clothes on. All of this is referred to in dialogue, though there are some physical actions, but nothing sexual. That's actually one of the problems. Physical abuse, happens. It was a real turn off for me. That's two things. One, I have a really tough time watching physical child abuse on screen. I know a lot of other people have the same reaction. So FYI. Secondly, it goes to such an extreme angle in terms of how twisted their relationship is, that while that is an important element in the ending and where these characters end up, it actually pushes it so far that I kind of lost respect for some of the characters. I mean, the villain is obviously you're not supposed to respect or anything, but it's pushed so far that there's really nowhere to go. I felt that if they pulled back a little bit, it actually would have been a more interesting ending, and the certain feelings about the relationships in the ending would have meant more, would have just been more complex than making it so extreme. So that I thought was unfortunate. So just be aware of that scene. It is shocking. I'm sure it was meant to be that way, but I just felt icked by it. So overall, Riding Bean, over the top, definitely. 1989 OVA anime. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good old rip-roaring 80s action-adventure story. Your mileage may vary, but that's what I think. So thanks for watching. If you want to check out Riding Bean, stop by streamsuki.com, an index of free legal anime streams, and stop by my website to talk about Riding Bean and lots of other cool anime at otakunovideo.net. So that's it for this time. Thanks for watching. A horse?